Hi, so in this video, I will walk you through what our app looks like and what it does. So let's imagine that you are a student or a researcher or a teacher who's doing academic writing. You are doing blah, 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 blah. So you're just writing, but let's say suddenly you feel anxious while writing. You feel anxious about something that's not right in your life right now, in your world or your country right now, or let's say you don't feel confident because of some bad feedback that you got, or you feel anxious because of something somebody said in class, or a whole host of reasons. So this is how our app can help you in that moment. You go click on the app's name at the top, Compose Me, and then you click on Open Jukebox, and this will open this kind of folder towards the right. And what you do here is that you click on the drop down box and you try and select what is the issue that is making you anxious. As of now, we've created content for about 5 issues based on the research that we did. And the hope is that we expand this into many, many more issues and create a lot more content in the future. So I will demonstrate, I think, 2 recordings in this video, 2 kind of interventions, and the rest you can check out later on, or you can also click on the transcript document that's there on this page, where you'll, on this website, where you'll get those transcripts for all of these 5 issues, and you can imagine what they sound like. So for now, let's click on competition, or no, let's click on confidence. Let's say you're somebody who lacks a lot of confidence while they write. They feel underconfident, you have low self-efficacy about your ability to write. So here is how our app might be able to help you. The moment you click that, this recording will play. So let's listen to what it sounds like.
Thank you for choosing to compose yourself. Often, we think that it's only our writing that needs composing, but a lot of the times, we, the writers, and the environments in which we work need composing too. I'm proud of you for doing this important work that will go a long way in helping you grow as a writer. For a few seconds now, stop your writing, stretch your fingers, take a couple of deep breaths, and just listen to my voice. I'm not going to lie to you. Some days it's all going to be a mess. You'll have sentences flying everywhere and words crashing into each other with no connections and no sense. On such days, it might seem like your writing is a dense and scary forest and you are lost inside it. On other days, you might feel like you are caught inside a blank desert where your pages have no words or sentences in them. Both cases might make you feel like you are not a good writer and that you need to give up. But wait, there is a way out. All you need to do is to tell yourself that in its very essence, your writing is like a garden. Yep, you heard me right. All our writings are like gardens. On some days, they grow wild and out of control like chaotic forests. On other days, they shrink and seem parched and empty like deserts. But in both cases, just like gardeners do, what we need to do is to patiently nurture them. We need to come to them every day and do a little tending, a little pruning, a little watering, and a little fertilizing. Small, meaningful edits that help our gardens grow back into shape. A sentence there, a word here, a punctuation mark there, and a quotation here. Don't expect any magical fixes in a single day though. Gardens take weeks, sometimes even months and years to blossom properly. But as long as gardeners tend to them regularly, there's no way that they will not become beautiful and amazing. And that's what you need to do too. Keep coming back to your writing gardens every day and keep tending them slowly and patiently. Over time, your garden will grow and give you flowers way beyond your imagination. So come, let's put on our gardening hats and get our hands dirty.
I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that it gives you the strength to now carry on your writing. And let's say after listening to that, you continue working, and after writing for a little while, again an anxious thought crops up in your mind, this time thinking about comparisons between you and your peers. Let's say you feel anxious because of the competition that you have in your class or in the world. And then what you can do is that click on competition.
Thank you for choosing to compose yourself. Often, we think that it's only our writing that needs composing, but a lot of the times, we, the writers, and the environments in which we work need composing too. I'm proud of you for doing this important work that will go a long way in helping you grow as a writer. For a few seconds now, stop your writing, stretch your fingers, take a couple of deep breaths, and just listen to my voice. A couple of weeks ago, I was feeling really anxious and jealous. Somebody in my class had just gotten a big publication in a prestigious research journal while I was barely managing to submit my assignments on time. During this time, my friend Aruni, who is a fantastic writer and teacher himself, reached out to me and gave me some fantastic advice. He said that writers are like planets. All of us have our own orbits. Earth's orbit is very different from Mars, and Saturn's orbit is very different from Jupiter, right? While all of them take different paths and different times to circle the Sun, all of them are majestic and beautiful in their own ways. Just like that, our writings too need to revolve on their own special orbit. Don't try to force them onto the path that others are taking, or you'll head for course collision. Imagine if Mars suddenly decided one day that it wants to become like Earth, and it jumped into Earth's orbit and started revolving around the Sun like the Earth does. It would be complete chaos, right? But sadly, that's what many of our schools and colleges make it seem like we need to do. They make it seem like there's just one correct way to write and all other ways are wrong. But I'll let you in on a little secret. If you talk to people who actually do writing in the real world, like researchers or journalists or fiction writers, most of them will tell you that there is really no single correct way to write, and all of us need to find our own unique styles while learning from everyone else's journeys out there. So instead of feeling anxious or jealous by all the other writers around you, instead take a deep breath, wish them good luck, learn from them, learn from what they are doing, and gradually focus on finding your own path, your own style, your own orbit. And trust me, over time, you'll see that other writers will want to start learning from your journey. So, good luck.
Doesn't that make you feel nice? We really hope it does. So if you are getting a sense of the kind of recordings that we are doing, in each recording, what we are doing is that first, we are trying to give a new metaphor through which you can reframe the deterministic screen or the kind of perspective through which you're looking at an anxiety. So let's say because of competition, you end up visualizing your classrooms as a race where different people are racing together, right? That gives a lot of anxiety. So instead of the race metaphor, in this recording, you saw how we used the planetary orbit metaphor, where no planet has to win, but each planet kind of revolves on and rotates on their own orbit, right? And that led along with ambient music. That's the kind of common strategy that we are following for all recordings. So I'll share the next one now. Let's say if you're feeling anxious about exams and grades. So let's see then how we can help you there. Figure out how you can think differently about exams and the anxieties that they cause.
Thank you for choosing to compose yourself. Often, we think that it's only our writing that needs composing, but a lot of the times, we, the writers, and the environments in which we work need composing too. I'm proud of you for doing this important work that will go a long way in helping you grow as a writer. For a few seconds now, stop your writing, stretch your fingers, take a couple of deep breaths, and just listen to my voice. Do you know why so many of us feel so scared of writing? That's because the most common type of writing we do in schools and in colleges is writing for exams or for grades. There, we are forced to sit under a clock and chug out words and sentences in high pressure do or die situations. I truly feel that exams and grades have done the most amount of harm for writers around the world. It's time that we change this abomination. Instead of thinking about writings through the lens of exams or grades, let's try to think of them instead as experiments. Yep, you heard that right. Experiments. You know, like the ones that scientists do. How they go about it is that, well, they first have an idea, then they create an experiment to test out the idea. Let's say like the scientists at NASA, the American Space Research Organization. A bunch of scientists there a few years ago had a crazy idea. Let's send a spacecraft with a man on the moon, they thought. And then, as an experiment, they created a rocket and they tried to send it to the moon. They worked really hard and they had a lot of hope. But unfortunately, they failed. And that too quite miserably. If this was an exam, they would have probably been demoted or asked to leave their school. But because it was an experiment, instead of giving up, they were able to go back to their drawing board, figure out what went wrong the first time, and create a new draft for their rocket. This time, with some improvements to overcome the shortcomings of the previous draft. They sent it out again with lots of hope and lots of effort, but sadly, it crashed again. And once again, they went back to their drawing boards and created yet another draft. Until after many such drafts, they got it just right and were able to send their beautiful rocket with Neil Armstrong and all the other dudes right to the moon. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. You know the story. Well, what if we imagined our writing to be like that too? There might be moments when, during an exam or during a publication or a class evaluation, our writing gets a low score. Worst case scenario, we even fail. We might have to momentarily give up. But what if, in the long term, we reimagine ourselves to be like the NASA scientists who might have failed an experiment, but because it was an experiment, they have to now figure out a way to learn from what went wrong and come back to the drawing board, create a new draft with some slight improvements, and send it out again and again and again until it hits just the right spot and they succeed. All we need to do is to rethink our writing just like that. Instead of exams, imagine them to be like experiments for which we get to write multiple drafts until we find something that hits just the right spot. Developing this long term view of our writing will go a long way in making us successful writers.
Yeah. So we hope you enjoyed that too. And like that, there are two more, life and environment, which you can explore on your own. But that's the broader idea. And right now, because of limitations of time, we could only put the audio in. But in the future iterations, we're also planning to include text here to increase accessibility. And if we can figure out to also maybe put the text not as like block text, but as subtitles, so just it flows at the speed in which the words are being spoken. That's the idea. So yeah, we hope that you enjoyed it, and please share any feedback that you have. Bye bye.